In a world where gods burn, kingdoms rot, and legends collapse, some stories are not written in fire, but in quiet suffering. Anri of Astora is not remembered as a conqueror, not as a lord, not as a savior. They are remembered, if at all, as an undead who kept walking long after they should have stopped. And in Dark Souls 3, that makes Anri's story one of the most devastating tragedies the world has to offer. So, rest at the bonfire, and let me tell you a story. Astora was once a land of faith, chivalry, and knights who believed that righteousness still mattered. But by the time Anri was born, that image was already a lie. The undead curse had spread, kingdoms were fading, and the gods no longer answered prayers. Then came Aldrich. The devourer of gods did not conquer Astora, he erased it. Entire lives were swallowed by his hunger, not slain in battle, not honored in death, simply consumed. Anri survived, but survival came with a cost. Because when you lose everything at once, grief has nowhere to settle. It hardens, it sharpens, it becomes purpose. From that moment on, Anri lived for one thing only. Aldrich had to die. Anri's resolve might not have survived on its own, were it not for Horace. Horace the Hushed never spoke. Whether by vow or injury, his silence became his defining trait. But he did not need words. His loyalty was absolute. Where Anri walked, Horace followed. Where danger waited, Horace stood first. Together, they were unkindled, drawn to Lothric not by ambition, but by necessity. Two survivors clinging to a shared goal in a world that offered no mercy. But even early on, the signs were there. Horace was hollowing, slowly, quietly, inevitably. And Anri, focused on Aldrich, did not see it, or perhaps could not bear to. When Anri meets the Ashen One, something unusual happens for a Dark Souls story. There is no hierarchy, no prophecy placing one above the other. They are equals, two undead, bound by loss, sharing campfires and confusion, both unsure whether their journey will lead to meaning or nothing at all. Anri speaks openly about fear, about doubt, about pushing forward because stopping would mean accepting that everything was meaningless. This is what sets Anri apart. They are not driven by destiny, they are driven by refusal. Refusal to let Aldrich's existence go unanswered. Refusal to let suffering be the final word. The catacombs of Carthus are where Anri's story begins to fracture. Here, the world reminds them of an unavoidable truth. Undead do not conquer despair. They endure it until it consumes them. Horace vanishes. Not slain by a great enemy, not taken in battle. He is lost, wandering deeper, hollowing quietly, unseen. Anri continues forward, desperately clinging to the belief that Horace can still be saved, that they are still walking this path together. But Dark Souls is not kind to hope. When Horace is finally found, he is no longer a man. Just another hollowed corpse swinging blindly at anything that moves. If the Ashen One puts him down and tells Anri the truth, the grief is immediate and devastating, but honest. If the truth is hidden, Anri carries false hope forward. A kindness that only delays the inevitable collapse. Either way, Horace is gone, and Anri walks on alone. Anri reaches Anor Londo expecting justice. What they find instead is rot. Aldrich is not a god. He is a parasite wearing divinity like a mask. When Aldrich finally falls, there is no triumph, no catharsis, just silence. Because with Aldrich's death, Anri's reason for existing vanishes. The goal that kept them sane is gone, and nothing replaces it. This is the cruelest truth of Dark Souls. Even righteous purpose can hollow you out once it's fulfilled. With their purpose fulfilled, Anri becomes vulnerable. And in Dark Souls, vulnerability invites manipulation. The Church of Londor sees Anri not as a person, but as a vessel, a necessary sacrifice to crown a Lord of Hollows. They are stalked, observed, prepared. If allowed, Anri is led to a twisted ritual masquerading as marriage. Silenced, restrained, pierced through the skull, their will extinguished to serve a cause they never chose. Anri does not become a ruler. They become proof that even the purest resolve can be weaponized. Anri of Astora represents the greatest lie of the Age of Fire, that good intentions are enough. They fought for justice in a world that does not reward it. They trusted companions in a world that erodes everyone. They believed that killing the monster would fix something. But Dark Souls is not about fixing the world. It is about enduring it. Anri does not fail because they are weak. They fail because the world they inhabit is fundamentally broken. Anri never becomes a legend. They never sit on a throne. They never reshape history. But they walk forward anyway. Through loss. Through fear. Through a world that strips meaning away piece by piece. And that is why Anri of Astora matters. Because in a universe of gods and monsters, the most painful tragedy belongs to someone who only wanted to do the right thing and paid for it with everything they had. And that may be the greatest tragedy of all.